We're in a historic time because we are currently in a podcasting renaissance for dudes with terrible opinions.
I swear to God, bro, podcasts are generally some of the stupidest goddamn content I've ever seen in my life, okay? The amount of times I see some dipshit talking out of their ass into a microphone is ridiculous. Now look, let me be clear. I'm not coming up here to say that all podcasts are bad. It's just that most of them are. Because what started as a unique way to hold interesting conversations from all walks of life has devolved into an oversaturated space of dumb fucks yapping about nothing. Seriously, anytime I see a dude with a podcast mic and subtitles, I automatically assume I'm about to hear the dumbest shit in my life.
We are currently living through the greatest public health crisis in human history. It's not a virus. It's a global pandemic of cheap microphones and cameras. See, the internet was supposed to democratize information. It was supposed to give a voice to the voiceless. Instead, the algorithm looked at the collective intelligence of the human race and said, what if we gave the loudest, most profoundly stupid people on earth a 4K camera setup and a microphone? Welcome to the podcast era, where having absolutely nothing of substance to say is a highly profitable business idea.
You would think that people would see through it, but unfortunately, being a confident, uninformed dumbass actually has a persuasive psychological effect on less knowledgeable people known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's basically where people who are less knowledgeable about something tend to overestimate how much they actually know, and that lack of knowledge then drives their confidence about that subject. And that same confidence is capable of convincing those who are just as, if not more, ignorant as them. Modern podcasts are the embodiment of this. Dudes sitting behind a microphone talking with confidence for hours about shit they know nothing about behind big budget sets. To the average person, something about the presentation will likely captivate them even if there's no substance behind what's being said. Moral of the story, be critical about the content you watch. Don't take everyone yapping behind a microphone at their word, even if it's your favorite creator. And most importantly, if you ever in your life have ever thought to yourself, maybe I should start a podcast, don't!
Think about the society of 2026. Historically, to get a broadcast platform, you needed a degree, a peer-reviewed study, or at least a functioning brain. Today, all you need is a ring light, an oversized hoodie, and the confidence of a toddler who just learned a bad word. We have actively built a multi-million-dollar entertainment ecosystem around degenerate and ignorant behavior. We watch two 22-year-olds who have never paid a bill explain the complexities of human psychology based entirely on TikTok infographics. We sit through 3 hours of relationship experts whose only qualification is having 7 failed toxic relationships and a premium OnlyFans account. And the terrifying part, the public eats it up. Comment section is a digital playground of people who can't even point to Canada on a map.
Look, I'm going to be the one to say it. Just because you have one good conversation with your homies, that does not mean that you need to start a podcast. And now we have podcast clips of dudes talking about how they want their mothers to have good sexual experiences.
Because I love my mom, I want her to come. I don't know if this is weird to say, but I want my mom to have flawless experiences.
How do you not know if that's weird to say? Like, oh my gosh, I want my mom to have great sexual experience. That is weird.
I want you to have that.
Yeah,
too.
and I want you to have that as well.
So it's like,
Is that weird to say?
really, like, I genuinely want my mom to be getting down good.
At this point, it needs to be easier to buy an RPG from a gun store than it is to buy a microphone from Best Buy. Because I promise you, if there were background checks for mics, we would be nowhere near this point. It feels like everyone has a podcast nowadays. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. NBA players, rappers, children.
But the internet system is rigged to promote idiots and cult members. The algorithm doesn't care if you're smart, it cares if you're divisive. The podcast game is simple. Say the most profoundly unhinged, scientifically inaccurate statement about human nature, clip it into a short video, put some lo-fi jazz or dramatic music under it, and watch a social experiment disguised as a conversation. Look at the mechanics of these shows. Have you noticed they all lean into the mic like they are whispering a state secret? We are actively trading human evolution for internet clout. We've turned low IQ and delusion into the primary source of cultural philosophy for an entire generation. We have people debating relationship dynamics generated by podcasters who haven't made eye contact with a real person outside of a Zoom call in 3 years.
Podcasting is one of those things that I believe is easy to start, but hard to master. Instead of having to get a degree for a job, people need to start getting a degree for a podcast. Like, let's just be real.
Oh my gosh, we're so funny. Wait, we should start a podcast. Oh my gosh, we so should. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. So what should we talk about? I don't know. Oh, why don't we talk about my 7 failed situationships? Perfect.
Quick, I need to show you something that will blow your mind. Look at this. China's version of TikTok is protecting their own kids from trashy content. There, if you're under 14 years old, you can only watch videos for 40 minutes per day. Unlike on our TikTok, where youngsters drown in these types of videos, in China, kids even get an alert to get off their phones and do something else. And between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., they cannot access the app.
China, the way that the algorithm works, it doesn't reward people doing stupid dances and like playing with their dog. The algorithm is rewarding things that they want to see their youth do.
But let's pull back the curtain on the geopolitical simulation. While the West is hyper-focusing its algorithmic feed on whether a man should pay for a $200 dinner date, the East is running a completely different software update. Look at the complete difference. On China's domestic version of the algorithm, Douyin, the system doesn't reward a couple arguing about cheating for clout. The state-mandated teenage mode forces the algorithm to push STEM, advanced mathematics, rocket science, classic physics, and high-tier patriotism. They are actively optimizing the brain of the youth to engineer quantum computers and master aerospace mechanics. Meanwhile, our algorithm is optimized for absolute civilization rot. We are training an entire generation to believe that the peak of human achievement is sitting in a room and debating who pays the bill on the first date or if cheating is an energy alignment issue.
Because while our version of TikTok is being fed with just more of this and this and this, just more suggestive videos, just more and more dancing trends, just more idiotic, wasteful content with tens of millions of views and just more and more silly pranks, well, the people of China only get served more of this. Teachers in classrooms, science experiments for kids, showcasing architecture and technology, even sports.
You know what she was saying.
Podcasts are getting way too out of hand.
Holy f***, you got a podcast too?
The majority of podcasts are still, quite frankly, terrible.
Hell yeah.
You guys aren't huge talkers, so I don't think a podcast is in the future. I mean, if we're being honest, so.
Currently, there are over 4 million podcasts worldwide. However, only around 17% of them are considered active.
The future isn't a cyberpunk sci-fi movie with flying cars. The real dystopia is much funnier and way more pathetic. It's a world where the infrastructure crumbles, the lights flicker, and the bridges collapse. But don't worry, because there will be 4 guys in a garage recording a podcast breakdown about why the bridge collapsed, sponsored by a sports betting app and a male grooming trimmer. We didn't get conquered by an alien invasion. We just gave microphones to the idiots and let them talk us into civilization collapse. Stay plugged in before they delete my channel and replace it with a podcast discussing stupid things that belong in a high school bathroom.
I've heard that from a friend of mine. He said, don't love your job, job your love. So don't
I love that.
Yeah, and when he said that to me, that hit me. And I was like, my business is me jobbing my love.
Why does a bus have 50 seats? And why does a Lamborghini have only 2? Because there are only a few successful...
man, why is everyone starting a podcast? I won't lie. I've thought about it. Your YouTube channel gets big enough? Start a podcast. You don't have a YouTube channel? Start a podcast. Have the worst opinions known to man? Start a podcast. Play sports? Make vodka. I mean, start a podcast and then make vodka. Everyone from teachers to preachers to ex-frat boys have a podcast these days. I mean, like, how much do we really need to be consuming other people talking?
Shut up. You don't even have a real life and people who love and respect you outside your stupid podcast. That's why they find pleasure in causing chaos like they are the Antichrist or villains from a James Bond movie. And why are we listening to some of these idiots discuss economics and the collapse of the nuclear family? Why are they discussing business and social science with zero intelligence and accountability? Burn this podcast equipment.
My daughter asked me today on the way to school, she's like, will I be alive in the year 3000? And I was like, absolutely not. And then I'm like, wait.
Maybe you might be, dude.
Yeah. She'd be 84.
No. Negative. No, she wouldn't. But,
I could kill my wife in 2 seconds. I could hit her as hard as I could in the face and she'd die. Right?
Bare hands. Yeah, bare hands. I could clobber her in the face and she'd die.
Right. Okay. What?
If you want to be super magnetic, walk into the room and you imagine that you're taking each 4 corners of the room and you're putting them in your pocket.
Ooh.
Have you heard of that?
No.
So that's something that I actually started doing a couple years ago when I learned about it, and it makes a huge difference.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. No. It doesn't make any sense. Not really.